Hello and welcome to this presentation on Filegroove, the data transformation tool. I'm Chris Coleman, the Chief Software Architect on the Filegroove project, and I'm going to take you through the basic steps of the problem involving data transformation and how Filegroove solves it. So let's move on. The problem. This problem is very common where a company that has to process some data receives that data from multiple organizations, and often each organization is providing that data in a different format. It could be CSV files, could be XML files, could be Excel files, whatever. That data, regardless of where it came from, must be converted to a single format so that it can be processed by a back-end application or downstream processing of some form. Now, there are a lot of bad options that you can choose for solving this problem, and a lot of people do it. If you're doing it now, don't feel bad, you're not alone. One of them is manual manipulation in a text editor. That seems the obvious one. You've got a text editor there, you've got a CSV file, you might copy some things around. You might choose to do that manipulation in Excel. You can copy entire rows, you can copy entire columns from here to there. But the variety of formats is such that you could end up feeling like you need to start writing some Excel macros to start doing your conversion. That's a very slippery slope towards a very unmaintainable system and a very complex system. You might even get so extreme that you might decide that you're going to use Excel as like a transformation user interface and start embedding rules inside cells that aren't actually written as Excel macros, but they're written as rules in some other language. This is very extreme and very hard to maintain and very hard to produce in the first place. Probably the worst option is to actually hard code. Pay a very expensive developer to write a hard-coded translator for every type of format you receive. This is a very unrealistic option, but one that I've seen occur in the past. It gets very expensive very quickly. It also means that you have issues with taking on onboarding new clients because each new client might have a different format. You've got to hire a developer in for maybe 3 or 4 weeks or maybe a month or maybe more, depending on the complexity of the file, and pay them big dollars to write a translator for you. And also, you have the issue if you want to add a new field to your target, the format, your common format that your downstream processing requires, you then have to get that developer back and pay him to add that field to every one of the hard-coded translators. Very expensive. So there's got to be a better way, and there is. The modern, simple, cost-effective solution is to map your data using Filegroove. Filegroove lets you do mappings without actually requiring a very highly paid programmer to do hard-coded mappings. It can map from virtually any format to any other format. It's also got orchestration capability, so you can do multi-level translations if required. You can go to an intermediate format, then do some more processing on that to go to yet another format, and so on until eventually you get to your back-end system and process it from there. So what is Filegroove data transformation? It's a very powerful, easy to configure translator teamed up with a very powerful data transformation orchestration engine. So that orchestration engine has some predefined business processes that accommodate a wide variety of common translation needs. However, it's customizable, so new BPMN processes can be defined and integrated very quickly. So if there's a particular need that you have that we don't currently have off the shelf, we can quickly tailor one of our existing processes, or we can create a brand new process, or you can create a brand new process in any BPMN2 editor that we can then integrate into the workflow engine, and that becomes an executable process. Being a workflow engine, it has full auditing of every process. Every step is recorded, what time it happened. If there's steps that require user interaction, it records who the user was that performed that interaction. It also has all the usual notifications, email, SMS. In terms of producing output data, the workflow engine can be configured to send file through SFTP or send a file through an API. Very flexible. The whole product is cloud-based, so there's nothing for you to install at the client end. No services to set up in AWS or some other cloud provider. None of that. You just interface to it in a very flexible way. There are many simple and fast integration options. So for input, you can do a file upload. For output, you can do file download via the Filegroove portal, and that's no extra cost. That's just a part of the product that's sitting there. Often clients will use this first to get their mappings right, test their mappings, and then when they're working, they can move on to an API interface. So the API again can be at both input and output end, or SFTP or email. Now before we go into the videos that actually show you the use of the tool, it's very important you understand two very simple terms, TOMs and TODs. A TOD is a target object definition. So for any translation process, the TOD defines the fields, the attributes, the types of the thing you're mapping to. So it could be, say, for a life insurance company, it could be a set of details about a particular client's premium or their policy. It could be the amount they're paying, could be whether they're a smoker or not, could be their full-time, part-time, casual status in terms of work. So again, there's a set of standard TODs available, but it's very easy for us to tailor those or add completely new TODs for your particular environment, regardless of what industry you're in. If you have a specific format that you've got to map to, we can create a TOD that we can map to in our data translation engine. The second term you need to understand is a TOM, which stands for Translator Object Mapping. It specifies how a particular input format is mapped to a TOD. So typically you will have a TOM for each of the different input formats you're mapping from, but you'll only have one TOD for the description of the object that it's mapping to. So you typically have many TOMs for each TOD. Now the TOMs are configured in a very modern, easy to use and intuitive user interface called the Filegroove TOM Studio, and we'll be showing you that in some of the videos that are on our website. So head over to our website and click on some of those videos and take a look. You'll see how easy it is to use. Thanks for watching.